Behold, I send forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But be aware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, to take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what you shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye to another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. That was Matthew 10, 16 through 23.
Okay, let me give you an outline. The most important thing here was that when the Messiah was born, the men from the east, the Magi from the east, there was a star that they followed. So it was always a sign. The sign was a star where? In heaven, or the east. And it says here that when men looked, there would be all types of signs in heaven. That would what? The signs that were in heaven, and that would happen. It would trouble men, and nations would be perplexed. And here we're going to read about brother against, but it's the signs that we are after that are in a multitude that are taking place. We have this our sun. This is the comet that's coming back in 2013. And the last big comet we had was Hale Bopp. You know what happened when that comet was a huge comet, and that's what the white folks went to when they all committed what? Suicide. When that sign came, the big controversy about this on the Art Bell show about these people about they thought this sign was the end and Hale and UFO, a whole lot of stuff. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some important signs that you had in the NFL, where you have two brothers versus what?
Two brothers.
Two brothers.
Brother against brother.
Yeah, brother against brother. What that means?
In the Super Bowl.
Why did you have the final thing? You had the Ravens versus the Patriots, and you had the 49ers versus the Falcons. Two birds.
Yeah.
And you should be able to look at, and the reason why that 49 is so important.
Gold rush.
As a gold rush in 1849. That it was a that gold rush built California. It caused folks to come to California to get their inheritance. Talk about that a little bit. So these are all important signs. If you can determine by looking at the symbols of these teams, will convey to you what's truly taking place currently within the nation. Matter of fact, within the world. You have over in the east now, you have Japan and China, the dragon and the rising sun going at it again. See, you got Kashmir and India going at it again, talking about nuclear war. You got the Middle East. So the whole world is basically inflamed. And folks know now where we're going and what the outcome is. And I hope to show you part of that this evening. Witnesses, irrefutable, if you can take test the truths. So, Penny, come here.
27 and 7. It's Proverbs 27 and 7.
Somebody give me Proverbs 27 and 7. Penny, come here and bring up, the first thing we'll do is just get Dick Gregory and bring up Skolson. the short videos. We'll play parts of this. But those two scriptures, but getting back to this, these two verbs, you know that the emblem of the United States is a what? It's eagle. And those are birds of what? The birds of prey. Right there, birds of birds of prey. And raven and falcon are birds of what? Prey. Okay, you got the patriots, which represents the what? The U.S. See, and the 49, this is a 49-year what? Cycle.
49.
See, this is a 49-year cycle. This is a cycle that has been operating. And through the ages, and it's through this cycle that you've been able to understand current events. And we'll talk about, certain things like, for instance, from 1789, I was going to say 1790.
They got a map, man, in the moon.
Also, bring up Penny Sculpture too.
Okay.
There's a 40-year cycle from the birth of our country. 1789. Once you get to 1860, when President Lincoln was elected, you have these kind of 40-year cycles, which gets you to 1900. Okay, another 40 years, 19 what? 1940, 19 what? 80, and then 40 more comes to 2020. That's right. That's 2020. I told you that's a very important year. And 2020 is an important year. But you have this thing here. It was 80 years from Lincoln, who was sworn in for the Civil War, down to 1940. That's when we get to that's when World War I began. II began. 1939 when Hitler went into Poland, and then 41, the year after that, December of 41, Pearl Harbor. So this begins World War II. So here we are in this 80-year cycle, and we're back in 2020. So we'll talk about some of those things and bring them out. But it'll give you just a rough timeline of what's happening. But the important thing is these are our signs and symbols that the Messiah himself said in his ministry. He told them, he says now, the scribes and Pharisees are the religious leaders at the time that the Messiah was walking around. They asked him, show us a sign. He says that there shall be no sign given, except for Jonah being in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights. He said, now you discern the signs of the what? Of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the what? Time. These are all signs of the time. See, and folks cannot even put it together where it begins to make sense. And what it means. I mean, we're waiting for a financial collapse which is unfolding before us worldwide. We're looking at wars continuing, you see what I'm saying? And you're looking at various earthquakes that are happening, so I said earth changes that also would alter this. So you have these things. So let us begin to put these things in perspective by the pattern. The founder used to say it this way. He said, if you know the pattern, the purpose of Yahweh, then you can foretell what is to come in the purpose of Yahweh.
That's right.
And see, you have a man that's sitting there in the White House that wants to be Lincoln, then you should know the events that should follow. Not only happens during his administration, but what would happen after that. Because, shortly after the Lincoln's and the Civil War, we had a depression. See, and one of the worst depressions we had. There are many things that there were many changes here. In the 1900s here, 40 years later, 1900s began the Industrial Revolution. This is when the Industrial Revolution came together. You talk about the Carnegies, your Rockefellers, the Morgans, all these people began to achieve great deal of power during this industrial. 40 years later, the Industrial Revolution, 1980, that began the so-called tech boom, that altered the change in economy, and then we are in 2020. So these are vast changes that take place every 40 years. So that's 1, 2. So actually, from slavery, we're only about three generations, 40, so African Americans only 4 generations outside of slavery. The 4th or 5th generation to us, depending on where you are. So, what we're going to do then, we're going to listen to Dick, and we're going to talk about some things, and what I'll do is bring up my iPad, and I think and go to that outline thing, and I'll show you how you compare Lincoln versus Obama. And I'll give you a short outline, just to give you an example of what happened just recently. When Lincoln was elected, you have a lot of nations that decided they want to succeed from the Union. When Obama got re-elected, you had what? 30 states that wanted to succeed from the Union. See, 30 of them. But see, it's already peaceful. They see what I'm saying. So it's already being set up. So that's just initially. We go back to his history and talk about how his wife liked to spend. Obama's wife likes to spend. Mary Todd and so like to spend money. State money, federal money. You know, the white people talking about, she spends all that money. It was the same thing with Mary Todd in the White House. She was doing the same thing. I said, wait a minute, you spend all this our taxpayers' money. She was trying to fix the White House up. So it's real crazy when you go back jot and tittle, jot and tittle. So wait a minute. And you can do the same thing with JFK.
A lot of similarities.
There's a lot of similarities. There's more than similarities. And there's no such thing as synchronicity. Everything is in sync according to the purpose of Yahweh. But once you see it, then you begin to understand the outcome is foretold. You don't have to tell you, say, wait a minute, this thing is real scary. Now I'll tell you this. After Lincoln got re-elected for the second time, he only served 42 days in the White House before he met his demise at the Ford Theater. By Booth. And the ironic thing is that he was shot in the Ford Theater, and JFK was driving a Lincoln Continental that was made by what? Ford. Made by Ford. So we'll go through some of that, some of the things. So there's a lot of correlations between those three.
Where'd you put your iPad? I don't see it here.
But we don't worry about it.
Man, why is Obama so obsessed with Lincoln? I mean,
Can't help himself.
what do you think he's gonna be
You
another
can't help it.
It's like he's obsessed with
You gotta understand what I'm
He's from
saying.
Illinois.
Things are being put
Lincoln's
in.
from Illinois.
We'll talk about that and said, who made man's mouth and who put things in man's what? Mind. See, let me say this to you. The devil knows quite a bit about us. When I say about that's what I mean by that. He understands the mind and its basic operation much more than what we do. There's a whole science world that differs from this. And as we talked about years ago, the Manchurian candidate, that people can take people and alter and change it. That's the first thing that like people go into the joint as heterosexual and come out switching. So I'm saying you can be forced into through mind trauma to develop different personalities and switch. And in fact, this is one of the reasons. If you go back to Egypt, if you go back to especially the Greeks were very not the Greeks, but the Spartans. They made a movie. They told you about it. There's many movies they made it, but I think that was the most explicit movie.
300.
What they would do is take babies from their mother and abuse them constantly. It's called trauma-based amusement. And what you develop a being that has no natural affection. And he's almost a killing machine. So when he's up about 15, 16, that's why when Xerxes, with his huge army, came out against those Spartans, they've never met men with courage that didn't fear death, that would fight like wild dogs. And we do have units like that. We have units like that.
The Japanese is the same way.
They have it the same way. It's done throughout all cultures. So trauma-based mind control has an important part in the whole situation.